Hi everyone and welcome to High Playing Games. My name's Simon and we are taking a look at Ultimate Racing 2D2 but the FE 2021 mod. I've had quite a few requests for various different mods to have a little mini championship and I thought I'd do something different this time around with Formula E, which was one of the requests. I think this is the most beautiful FE mod that is out there at the moment, focusing on the 2021 season. It looks like someone sat and got the actual real FE graphics and shrunk them down. Beautifully done. I've ever so slightly tweaked maybe one or two of the drivers' AI skill to make them a little bit more aligned and closer together, because that season was such a cluster in the fact that A, just everyone kept smashing into each other, that B, the qualifying format was so ridiculous that it was a topsy-turvy grid and no one really did like a runaway of anything. It was just a confused time. So we'll see how that gets on. To also kind of go, why do you do this, Formula E? We all know why, because I have to race in the city centres. I thought it'd be fun to use all 8 of the original game's kart tracks as the tests to see how this goes. Because it does feel like cars are too big for the tracks themselves and they're always driving around kart tracks everywhere. Some people have done the FE tracks, and I'll just kind of explain. So some of the mods that are out there, if I just dive back in again. So you've got an FE layout, a Long Beach layout, although it does lack in a little bit of a roundabout foliage. Saint Etienne is on there as well, and I think there was another one. Lisboa, I think, is an actual FE track at some point as well. But the AI smash into the walls, and if you'd have seen one of my attempts at doing some of those tracks as an outtake on Friday, you'll know that it didn't go very well. So we're going to stick with the kart tracks and have a giggle. But as a result, we're going to switch it up. So instead of it being a normal 16 laps, we're going to go for 30 because they're karts, and we've got a shorter championship of 8 races. 1 qualifying lap. We're keeping the soft, medium and hard tyres because I think that'll keep stuff kind of intriguing. But I've changed penalties to high. And I'm going to keep damage on medium because I'm not sure quite how these cars will react to being on kart tracks. You'll also see weather stays clear. I did think about putting on some rain, but it just gets in the way. So I'm going to leave it as a nope. Let's dive in. Okay, so here we are at round 1, quali. Off and away the teams all go. It looks like Jean-Eric Vergne is about to be attacked by Andre Lotterer. Isn't everyone in this championship? Lotterer is such an aggressive driver. And Antonio Felix da Costa hanging around there. René Rast, he did a couple of races, I think, in 2021. Poking himself out there in the Audi. But it looks like Vergne has kept up. Joel Eriksson off the back there. Over the line they go. Bum, 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 bum. So you can see the T-Cheetah. Jean-Eric Vergne grabs the pole ahead of the 2 Porsches. Van Dorn there in 4th ahead of De Grassi, Da Costa, De Vries. René Rast, Sam Bird and Alexander Sims rounds out your top 10. Envision Racing sandwiching a Maxi Gunther. Ahead of Alex Lynn, Mitch Evans, Sebastian Buemi, Oliver Rowland, Jake Dennis, and then the 2 Dragon Penske's at the back there. Nico Müller and Joel Eriksson. Obviously the Neo cars would have been your 11th team, but you can only get 20 cars on the game. So off and away we go then. 30 laps. This is probably going to be the longest one of the lot. And look at the way they're all kind of clonking into each other. Whoa, Nico Müller taking a right dive bomb. You can tell this is definitely a Formula E mod. As they navigate their way around this tight and twisty circuit, they're ghosting out. I think that's just whilst the game kind of make sure that people stay not necessarily overlapped. And someone's gone wrong already, and that's Nick De Vries. Oh dear, he's got himself back going again, but real problems early on. And look at the amount of people in for damage straight off and the changes of strategy going on. So yeah, Nick De Vries in real trouble there at the back. Clearly he's decided that's enough for the day. But Lotterer leaves from Vergne, Da Costa, Gunther. Then it's Lynn, Müller. Nick Cassidy's in trouble now with some motor damage. I think he'll be into the pits. So will René Rast. So will everyone by the looks of it. So it's survival of the fittest because it is Well, Robin Freins and Nick Rowland taking on it. It's that turn one, a weird way how they're all kind of going around each other. Oliver Rowland's now got a penalty and is in trouble too. We're going to start hitting blue flags very soon too, because look at how everyone else is kind of navigating their way around. This is a cluster going on towards the back end. Rene Rast there outside the top 10. It's because you've got Sam Bird there on hard tyres, minding his own business, trying to get through. And again, they're all just diving into the pits over and over and over and over again. This could be an absolute race of just picking your point and trying to stay out of trouble. Thankfully, Nick de Vries there has kept his car off the track where it failed. So that's kept that car going. Up front, though, is Andre Lotterer leading Jean-Eric Vergne. Lotterer's never won a Formula E race in real life at the time of recording, whereas Jean-Eric Vergne very much has, as has Maxi Günther. So being chased down, and Günther looks like he's going down the inside. That will then chop him off for second position. Nicely done getting around Vergne. But they've got hard tyres versus soft tyres versus medium as they make their way through. So three very different strategies, and well clear of the one stoppers of De Grassi, Verline, Sims, Lynn, Da Costa. There's Freins there back up into ninth. Then Buemi being absolutely robbed by Stoffel Van Dorn. I was going to say Sebastian Van Dorn. There's a love child we didn't want. Then it's Buemi, Ericsson now back up to 12th after his poor quali. Rast, Muller, Bird, Dennis, Evans, Rowland, Cassidy. And there's the retired De Vries. But Lotterer is still leading the way, and now it looks like, actually, if you look at how the durability is going on, Maximilian Günther is running into slight troubles. Whilst all that's going on, the back end of the field is still being caught by Andre Lotterer, and you can see Nick Cassidy desperate, I think, to probably try and stay on the lead lap, but he's getting blue flagged for it very soon, if not already, as they move their way around. You can see it's Cassidy, Evans and Rowland have all kind of got blue flaggings going on as Lotterer closes in, and it looks like he's going to have a good go on it, pulling out now 2.5 second lead. Oh, Cassidy, that's not how you do blue flags, mate. But never mind, onwards we go. Vergne now into second, then it's De Grassi, Günther, Verline, Da Costa, Sims, Lynn, Freins, Van Dorn. Where is Günther? Came back out on mediums there. So it is just Vergne and Lotterer yet to pit. Cassidy now lapped. Lotterer somewhat damaged after all of that, but they continue on. De Grassi's going to be the clever one here, I think, because look, he's closing down Jean-Eric Vergne in terms of having much better hard tyres and less damage than Jean-Eric Vergne. He's got Günther for company now on fresh tyres as well as no damage. And look, he's trying to cut up the inside. That's a Formula E move if ever there was one. Bump and grind out the way. And Günther back up into the podium slots for third position. Looking really beautiful there for him. 4 seconds behind Vergne, but that is definitely less than a pit stop. So Günther on the multiple attack really starting to show potential form here as Lotterer is having to deal again with back markers. This time it's Sebastian Buemi, not really a back marker. Sam Bird in the pits for repairs and some new tyres. Remember, he'd started off on hards and was holding people up earlier on, so that's not worked out for him. Mitch Evans moving out of the way. Goes a lap down. Oh, Buemi mugs him at the same time too. And actually this is starting to not help Lotterer so much because look, Günther 4 or 5 seconds off the pace on medium tyres, needs to make hay whilst the sun shines on better tyres but also clean air. And there's Lotterer into the pits, as is Nico Muller rejoining in 19th place. And there you go, Günther takes the lead. But again, changes of strategy. Medium tyres versus hard. De Grassi, I said he'd be interesting, moving up into third, but obviously he's halfway through his tyres. Jean-Eric Vergne out on softs again, so very different strategies all the way around. Then it's Robin Freins, Pascal Verline, 2 stopped already, but is now in 6th with fresh softs. Tainier Felix da Costa being very quiet ahead of Joel Eriksson. And it's Rowland just holding off on Lynn, running out wide there was Ollie Rowland on his used soft tyres. I think he'll be into the pits anytime soon, although Alex Lynn is going to punish him and goes right the way round and takes 9th place away. And there you go, Rowland into the pits, damage and knackered tyres. I'm sure that will sort him out nicely. Here's Jean-Eric Vergne though, he's caught back up to Lucas de Grassi in the battle for third position. These two have no love lost as Jake Dennis pops out behind them, and Vern using his boost to say yoink up into third place, 2.5 seconds behind Lotterer, who is behind Maxi Gunther. We've missed that, apologies. Gunther into the lead by 2.1 seconds, less damage, and I think potentially not fresher tyres than Lotterer. Same amount of damage-ish actually. This has the potential to swing, obviously, as they move themselves around. Of course, Gunther jumped him in the pits, didn't he? It wasn't an overtake on track. Calm yourself down, Simon. Calm yourself down. You can tell it's all of the fun of an FE race, can't you? It's absolute carnage. So, into the pits again comes Sam Bird. So Vern stays in third. Degrassi in for his second stop from fourth position. That should, in theory, let Robin Friends through. Indeed it does. Does De Costa get through too? Yes. And that allows Degrassi out just ahead of Pascal Verline, who's well clear of Lynn. Rast up into the top 10 now. Van Dorn back in it again. Alexander Sims and Mahindra not too far off, but these are on hard tyres, so they're going, or trying to go, for the long haul. The juicy thing here is that obviously we've got Lotterer going around the outside of Gunther for the lead. That's on track with strategy. Back markers of Roland and Ericsson playing a bit of a part there. I don't know what Nick de Vries is doing. He's kind of edged his way back onto the track again. Someone's hit him. He's not a pinball machine. Lotterer back out on front again ahead of the Gunther. Vern and Friends way back. So this has all been really heavily decided by who did well in staying out of trouble on those opening couple of corners. Because cars like Lynn, Cassidy, Evans, they all struggled early on. Some more than others. And Nick Cassidy there, that's his fourth stop alongside Bird and Muller. Not good look at all. As Andre Lotterer taking back charge of this, about to lap his teammate though. Pascal will not be pleased. Moves out of the... Oh, no, he doesn't move out of the way. Teammate love needs to happen here. At least Buemi gets out of the way. Hard tyres versus soft tyres. Gunther into the pits as well, and that's damage just as much as tyres. Not good for him, but beautifully for him. Jean-Eric Verne pits at the same time. Onto the softs then. They should last until lap 30, given Gunther stays clean. And there's the hard-tired Lucas de Grassi. He's moved himself up into third ahead of Verne. Big gap back to Da Costa Friends. That's Van Dorn getting past Alexander Sims. Hard tyres versus soft tyres. Will Van Dorn make it to the end on those tyres though? I'm not sure he will. So that seventh looks like it could be just for a watching brief. Two Mahindras there of Sims and Lynn, both running in the top 10, which I think will be happy for them. And they look like they've got the tyres to make it last. Sims might be a bit dodgy. So you can see Van Dorn escaping out of it. That will give Sims a little bit of a breather. And he'll do one lap less because that's Andre Lotterer about to lap himself. Quite conveniently, that was Verline trying to unlap himself. A little bit of teammate love. That's not helped. Oh, penalty for Alexander Sims. Did that help him with Verline? I think it does, but I think the drama with that is that they'll both have to pit. Yep, and Lotterer too from the lead. That is not what Andre Lotterer, I think, wanted or needed. Real problems there for the leader. He comes back out then, just ahead of Gunther. Is it 2 and a bit seconds? Oh, Verline's in the way, holding up. Doing well, doing the teammate game really to keep Lotterer safe up front. And this is going to be all about how these two manage the traffic, because Gunther really struggling with Verline. Verline finally getting out of the way, letting Gunther through. At the exact same time, Sebastian Buemi lets through Lotterer, and that's a great dodge move to get round Stoffel Van Dorn, who is currently running in 9th. Lotterer takes the lead, lap 25 of 30. This has been chaotic at best. I'm not sure this was a good idea. Never mind, we're on it now. Gunther well clear of De Grassi. Da Costa now up into fourth ahead of Friends. Jean-Eric Verne down in 6th. That has not worked out for him. He's got a couple of drivers ahead of him that are on more worn tyres, but he's got to really make that work. Same for Rast. Van Dorn now up into 8th ahead of Sims, Verline, Lynn, Buemi, Ericsson, holding a lot of people behind him that he's about to get lapped by. Roland, Dennis, Muller, Bird down in 17th. That's Evans in for his 4th stop. Cassidy's done 5. All right, save some for other people, Nick. But it is Lotterer now. There's Mitch Evans in between him and Maximilian Günther. If anything, the gap is growing. 2 seconds, 2.6. And look, Stoffel Van Dorn not really helping Günther's cause at all. Bullying Maxi Günther at some point. He's going to stay out, but that's a damaged BMW trying to get its way home in second. De Grassi's far enough back that I don't think it will matter too much. Oh, this is juicy. Techeetah battle. John Eric Verne says, thank you very much. Up into fourth position, I shall go. And that is just as much tyre and damage as it is driver skill. Frines there will be having a little sniff around. What can he do to get himself up in positions as well? Penultimate lap then. It looks very much like Andre Lotterer is doing well. Alex Lynn's got himself a penalty. I did increase the penalties for this one for corner cutting because, well, if there's not a barrier in the way, Formula E normally makes it to the barrier as Joel Eriksson too gets a penalty. Oh, that was a bit juicy. Respawning back out to get Lotterer to hit him. Rene Rast running an excellent 7th in the Audi. Still goes a lap down, so the field spread absolutely huge here. Someone's gone off further up the road there for Lotterer as well. I think it was the other Dragon Penske car. But he's still going there with Nico Müller. And Andre Lotterer comes out of the final squiggly corner to win. Ahead of Maxi Günther, who's going to just about get across the line. Very damaged in second. De Grassi's going to come home in third. Just as knackered. Wow. What happened to these lot? Verne is in fourth. Then it's Da Costa. Robin Frines will finish ahead of Rene Rast, who I think will stay clear of Alex Lynn and Alexander Sims. Stoffel Van Dorn. Sebastian Bremy. Pascal Verline, Jake Dennis, Oliver Rowland, Nico Müller rounds out your top 15 with Evans, Ericsson, Bird, terrible day for Jaguar, Cassidy, and the non-finishing Nick de Vries, who, don't forget, won this championship. DNFing and starting with a big fat 0. So what does that do to the drivers? We all know. What does that do to the teams? Techeetah and Porsche. Right up front with 38, just 2 ahead of Audi and a couple of more ahead of BMW. A gap back to Mahindra with Envision and Nissan just behind. Dragon Penske equal with Mercedes. What? And then Jaguar rounding out in 10th. Oh dear. Deep breath. Come on, you can do this. On to India, where barriers are everywhere. This can only go well. So again, nice quick circuit, 30 laps. I expect carnage, I expect field spread, I expect 5 stops to take place. What I'm not sure is I expect who is going to be on pole. That looks like a very tight run across the line. Who got it? Pascal Verline in the Porsche. Ahead of De Grassi and Da Costa and De Vries. Wow, you've got to have a D in your name to be at the top of this grid. Alex Lynn follows behind ahead of Evans, Rast, Verne, Sims and Lotterer. Just 0.88 seconds covering the field, and it was just the Dragon Penskes again at the back, but they made up places by not pitting nearly as much as everyone else. Can they do the same again? Disappointment for Bramy and Frines. Let's see how this goes off the grid. Pascal Verline gets off a better start than Da Costa, who goes round the outside of De Grassi. Very tight and toasty around this middle section, but actually the drivers are more behaved on this one than anything else. Who's pitting at the end of lap 1? It's a very small pit lane. It's Lynn, Evans, and again Nick de Vries, but at least he's made it round lap 1 this time. That's further than last time, but he is again last. Into the pits anyone this time around? A few people, but again it's Da Costa, it's De Grassi and it's Verline keeping clean. And look at the way De Grassi slides that Formula E car around. Nick Cassidy's in trouble in the Envision. He needs to get that back to the pits. Don't hit Joel Eriksson. Get yourself round. Oh, he's lost power, but Rene Rast is going to push him into the pits and keep him going just about. Well done there to Nick Cassidy. And Rene Rast, well, that's the team game. Oh no! That's not worked! Come on. Come on. Edge it further. You can do it. Someone will pit in a second. Alex Lynn to the rescue. Well done. Back in the race, Nick Cassidy. That's what we need. Everyone needs a push and a shove and a toe. And it's Stoffel Van Dorn leading the way. The only driver to not pit so far. Again, survival of the fittest. And quite frankly, the roulette wheel that is Formula E Who knows what the bloody hell is going on. Soft tyres should indeed work quite well around this track. But Van Dorn loses out in his pit stops to Lucas de Grassi. Then it's Verline, Da Costa, Verne, Jake Dennis doing much better this time up into 6th ahead of Roland, Freins. That's Rast, Gunther battling with Buemi behind. Gunther looking for another great result for the BMW. Behind him then is Alexander Sims, who's battling with our race winner Andre Lotterer, only 12th, and he's come out in medium tyres, hoping to get to the end. I feel like that will be brave. Again, the two Jaguars down the back there of Bird and Evans, ahead of Lynn, Muller and Cassidy, is basically a lap behind, and he's back in the pits again already. Jesus Christ. So, de Grassi versus Van Dorn, not for long. Stoffel Van Dorn gets the waffle in and gets down the inside. That seems to be the favoured move, trying to do the up and under around that middle section. But look, it's real problems trying to get round the lapped cars. Rast, Evans, Bird, all causing troubles. And look at the amount of damage that it's causing these guys. This is stock car racing, just in Formula E fashion. Lotterer and Buemi back in again. Our race winner from round 1, Lotterer, down now in 13th place. 3 stops in. I'm not sure this was a good idea. This felt like a good idea when I started. Da Costa's now on the hard tyres in all of that, although he's given up and pitting again for mediums. Look at the way they're all smashing into each other. It's the blue flag problem. Look, they're all trying to get out of the way of each other, and look, absolute carnage in the midfield. Buemi's not going to make it if he continues playing like that. Going to limp it on round home. Yeah, look, being pushed around by teammate Ollie Rowland, who gets himself up into 5th position now, chasing down Pascal Verline, who's again not too badly going. De Grassi and Van Dorn battling away, and look, it's Buemi. Buemi's conked out. This could be problematic for the entire field if he's stuck in the middle of the track there. Cassidy goes through, no longer last. Joel Eriksson, Nico Muller, Bird, they're all pushing that car around. They don't want it on the track. I mean, they're showing a good little bit of love. And look, Alex Lynn again, pushing cars around. Into the pits he goes. Both Dragon Penske's in there as well. And it's Antonio Felix da Costa then leading the way fairly comfortably at the moment from Pascal Verline, De Grassi, Van Dorn are your top 4. Lotterer now up into 5th, interestingly. Has he avoided all of the carnage and has now got some clear air to try and just chill out for a little bit? Oh, Buemi, that's not where you're supposed to be, mate. Overshot the pit lane much. Gunther now up into 9th, battling away to keep... Well, it was going to be Jake Dennis behind, but actually that's Da Costa trying to lap him. And Muller trying to unlap himself, I think, in all of that. That's the problem. How's Buemi got round there? Gee, I tell you what, have a shot, if anyone's watching this, drinking game, shot for each time a car has smacked itself out. And Nico Muller's in trouble there too. He's missed the pit lane. He's going to conk out. We're going to have some real serious problems. Look at the smoke billowing out of Nico Muller's Dragon Penske. Buemi in trouble too, and he's caught Nick de Vries, who's just had no luck at all. And look at the way how the leaders are coming round. Da Costa, de Vries... De Grassi, all trying to get their way round, and it's causing a bit of a bottleneck. Everyone will be into the pits again. De Grassi's missed it though. He's going to try and keep going on again for another one. I think he is, yeah. Oh, Van Dorn straight into the back of him. That's no good in the battle for the podium. And Pascal Verline says, thank you very much, Lucas de Grassi and Stoffel Van Dorn. I'll have that. Gets round Nico Muller, trying to limp his way around. This is utterly carnage. Which is exactly what my thoughts and general observations of Formula E are all about. So actually, gleeful, maniacal laugh, I think, is probably the best way I'll describe this. Rene Rast just overtaking all of the people there at the moment. As they make their way through. But Antonio Felix da Costa there with 5 to go. Buemi and De Grassi's conked out entirely. Wow! That's problematic for the leading lot, but Da Costa's still there, but Pascal Verline just at the back of all of that. Please let some of those cars be able to get into the pit lane. How is De Grassi still in 14th? Nico Muller's overshot the pits as well. I think when they're all coming in and trying to pit and get some new tyres and stuff and get back out again, they're all struggling for problems, and that's Da Costa in, De Grassi's in. They're going to push those other two out, but at least they get themselves back going again. Pascal Verline now up front. Oh, caught by Nico Müller. Gunther's going to smash into the back of him. That allows Verline to get going again. This might be the easiest way to go round. Just hope everyone else pushes you. But look, Stoffel Van Dorn flying in fast. Da Costa's not too far behind. Ignore Lynn. Oh no, he's got caught up in the back of Buemi, then gets pushed out of the way. This is the battle for the lead on the last lap. Stoffel Van Dorn takes it. This might be utter carnage all the way around them, but the two of them, this is going to be who can avoid the conked out cars and who has the best drive to the line. And it's Stoffel Van Dorn stealing it from Pascal Verline right under his nose. Da Costa nearly got back up into third in all of that. Freins is in fourth ahead of Verne, Dennis, Gunther. Lotterer gets a top 10, that's crucial for him in 8th. Nick de Vries crosses the line in 9th. Ollie Rowland will be in your top 10. That's Rene Rast getting himself over the line in 11th ahead of Joel Eriksson. Mitch Evans still going in 13th. Then it's Sam Bird. Alex Sims has conked out. Nick Cassidy still going. Alex Lynn, De Grassi, Muller and Buemi. Did I see 9 stops? Well, onward. So Lotterer is still lead. How does he lead the championship after all that? Never mind. Da Costa then up into second ahead of Van Dorn, Gunther, Verne, Freins, Verline, De Grassi, Dennis and Rast. Your top 10. De Vries now gets his first points on the board, ends up into 15th. Problems there for Cassidy down in 20th. Not a great start for him. The Cheetah then lead the way in the constructors ahead of Porsche, BMW, Mercedes and Audi. Jaguar level with Penske, Dragon at the bottom. Argentina, anyone? I'm knackered already, we're only 2 rounds in. Off and away we go then for a quali lap, and this looks like it's a karting track that's not going to cause nearly as much problems. And it looks like Lucas Di Grassi quite fancies actually getting pole position in his Audi this time around. Sam Bird trying to get that Jaguar somewhere further up the grid. Whoa! Rast! Where did that come from? Woohoo! Beautifully done on the boost. I suppose you could... Do we pretend it's fan boost, but it's just each lap? Shrug. But pole for Rast ahead of Buemi, Freins, Rowland and Bird with De Grassi, Da Costa, Verline, De Vries and Verne rounding out your order. Championship leader Lotterer down in 11th. Much better run there for Müller in the Dragon Penske. Finally they're off the back row of the grid for the first time this season. Problems though for BMW with Dennis 15th and Gunther 18th. And Mahindra I think will be upset with 16 and 19. So this should feel a little bit more normal, but Rast off to a little bit of a tardy start, and that's helped out everyone else. De Grassi's had a penalty for running wide in all of that. That's dropped him back and caused a bit of problems of bottlenecking further back, but Ollie Rowland takes the lead ahead of Rene Rast. Then it's Bird, Buemi, Freins, Verline leads the rest through. Jean-Eric Verne straight into the pits, as is Müller. Da Costa, De Grassi, Evans and Dennis. So some people they're really losing out at the beginning, but the rest of the field feels like it's nicely spread out and doing what it needs to do as they make their way around this tight and twisty but nowhere near as lethal track. Buemi there goes behind Ollie Rowland. Battle of the sister cars as they make their way through, but Rast up front, 1.4 seconds clear in the Audi. Freins up there into third in the Envision. Bird pits out of it in the Jaguar. That could work out okay-ish, depending on where he comes back out again. Behind Nico Müller's Dragon Penske on soft tyres. No one started on the soft. Some people have gone to it, such as Jake Dennis currently running in plumb last. But the field's spreading itself out there, so Rast clear from Rowland, Freins, Buemi, Verline, De Vries and Van Dorn. Your top 7 ahead of Cassidy. Last in the championship, but running 8th at the moment and not looking too bad. Lotterer up to 9th. Hard tyres, a little bit of damage, but that could cycle round quite nicely to him. Remember that these hard tyres can last the vast majority of the race. Ericsson up into 10th there as well in the Dragon Penske. I think will be happy. A bit more drama further back here. So this is Muller, who has stopped nearly up with Alexander Lynn, Alex Lynn, sorry, who hasn't. Bird diving his way through, now first of the people who have pitted. And look, Muller and co already back in again. So Sam Bird, slightly damaged, but starting to pick off traffic. So this makes me feel like pitting for tyres is good, because it's giving you so much of an undercut or overpower in tyre grip compared to others, because it's such a slippery circuit. And closing back in again, so you've got Cassidy and Ericsson just up front. There's Lynn not pitted, then it's DaCosta, Gunther, Degrassi, Evans, Dennis, and there's Verne, Muller and Sims. Ooh, Sims in trouble. That Mahindra will just about, I think, maybe make it into the pits, but this could be our first problem if he can't just park it up. And there's Freins in, Roland Muller again. Oh, and they've pushed him out of the way, and that's going to be problematic there depending on where he ends up. There, look, Oli, Roland, Muller and Buemi all stuck there in the pit lane, and this is a problem because Rast, so ridiculously clear. Him and Cassidy are the two yet to pit in this field. And they're doing a fine job. In fact, Envision are 2-3 at the moment. This is looking great. Sims being pushed around by teammate Alex Lynn. Great for the team morale, but I think that's going to cause problems for Sim being stuck again in the middle. Look, Frein, second position, smacks him difficultly and hardly. And there's Verline and Cassidy pushing their way through. Hopefully he can coast back round and try and get it again as Roland does the 1-2 double wobble trouble. Rast still slightly damaged, lap 11. Will he pit this time around? Yes, he will, but the problem here is that we've still got Sims stuck. So again, what are you doing, Alex? And that's holding up Rast. Freins goes through. That's how powerful all of this undercut is, and Rast gets stuck behind Sims. Verline trying to cut his way through. Roland and Buemi right behind. Buemi, bit of a dodgy line and a bit of damage going on there too as the Jaguars start smacking up everyone else. Rast runs out wide. Freins pulling away. 3-second advantage. Smacks into Sims and gets stuck behind him though. This is exactly what happened to Rast earlier on. The gap closes down. Rast gets through and that's all okay. But wow, yeah, not great fun. And again there's Sims being pushed in to try and get some repair work. This game needs a patch for that, please. I've had enough of Sims. Let's move on. Who else is having a good run? This is Degrassi trying to get his way up the field past Maxi Gunther. Hard tyre versus hard tyre, getting themselves into the top 10 if they can. Lotterer with a penalty there coming through. Buemi's stuck behind Sims, being pushed back out into the track again. So again, back markers and cars conking out, really causing problems throughout the field. And Freins getting the lucky one there. Oh, and actually Sims coasting his way round, staying off the racing line, so that's good. Freins versus Rast. Cassidy now up into third for Envision ahead of Roland. Then it's Degrassi. That's going to be a problem for one BMW. And it wasn't Gunther, it was Jake Dennis, who's not had a good run of it, down in 18th. Sam Bird will be loving that. That's helped him leapfrog a fair few people, including our championship leader. Jake Dennis needs to abandon for the pits for some repairs. Degrassi's already in there. He drops down to 8th. Comes out alongside Lotterer, who's going to go around the outside and takes the Brazilian for position. Next up for him is the not as fast Dragon Penske of Joel Eriksson, but Lotterer into the pits. Staying on the lead lap there ahead of Freins, but both Freins and Rast are in, as is Evans, as is Van Dorn. There's DaCosta in. And we've got more problems. That's Nico Muller, who's conked out too in the Dragon Penske and now being pushed around. I mean, it does feel quite Formula E, doesn't it? There's another driver with a penalty and trouble going on there. But I don't think I'll try this type of configuration of championship with the kart tracks on these big fast cars again. Nick de Vries there pushing Nico Muller into the pits, who can't now seem to get himself sorted out. They just need like a little coast it in and hope for the best and be left alone. But DaCosta and Degrassi are in, and that's going to force Sims into trouble. Dennis being bullied out of the way in 18th last of the running cars. At least Sims has conked out and still getting penalties. So it is Frines versus Rast, and they're trying to get their way around Alex Lynn in the Mahindra, lap 23 of 30. This has been a less chaotic race. Jake Dennis in for his 5th stop. Da Costa having a terrible one. After 2 strong rounds, he is in trouble, and so is Stoffel Van Dorn in all of this. Verne hasn't featured well either. This is a real D-Day for the likes of Frines, Rast. Ericsson now up into 4th in the Dragon. Cassidy, who is last in a championship, still running in 5th. This is all about flip reversal, basically, of other people's fortunes to see who can do well with what. They're getting pushed into the pits. 5 to go. Frines keeps going, as does Rast. Roland is damaged. I wonder if he'll try and stay out as Rose post a pit. Yes, he does. That could be very helpful for him indeed. Gunther now is the next car in trouble in the BMW, by the looks of it. He's conked out, trying to make his way around. Roland might well be the next one that runs into trouble with this as well if he doesn't pit this time around. Indeed he does. Wisely done. Well, Sims has got himself back going again. Well done. That has worked out well. That's what really should happen if we can get people back in again to the pits. But this is really helping Robin Frines to lead in the Envision, and that's because Rast is in trouble. Look at the problems with that car with 2-3 to go. Is Cassidy going to get anywhere? No, he's in trouble too. They're all trying to stay out for as long as possible to avoid running into more and more pit stops than they have, but with the other cars conked out, really holding them up and everyone causing trouble. Is this going to be the end of Nick Cassidy? It's problematic. It was going so well and now everyone's on fire. This is the most Formula E of the Formula E that could possibly happen, but I think Cassidy's going to get into the pitch. Yes, he does, as does Verne, as does Roland. And there's Rastin. He was doing so well leading earlier on. Now he's not even going to get a top 10 finish because he's overshot the pits, as has Stoffel Van Dorn. Oh, it's all fallen apart right at the end, and that's allowed Robin Frines to win the race. Superb stuff. It looks like Joel Eriksson is going to be second. Wow. For Dragon Penske. Then it's Pascal Verline in 3rd. Nick Cassidy, despite all of that, is going to end up 4th. Wow. Ollie Rowland gets home in 5th position. Then it's Alex Lynn for Mahindra. Andre Lotterer, championship leader, salvages the day with some 7th place finishing ahead of Mitch Evans. Lucas de Grassi. Sebastian Buemi rounds out your top 10 for Nissan. Oh dear. Techeetah in 11th and 14th there with Vernon da Costa, with a De Vries and Bird in between. Again, Jaguar. It looked promising at the beginning, but that didn't work out for him at all, did it, for Bird? Rast. That looked like that race was in his grasp. So he ends up 15th with just 5 points. Then it's Dennis Van Dorn, Gunther, Sims and Muller not grabbing the points. What does that do to the championship? Well, Muller's down there in just at 6 points. Bird in 19th. Oh dear. De Vries only 17th. Real problems. Rast losing out on his big win there. Only up into 12th. But you can see how this just catapults people through, because Robin Frines now leads the championship by 10 points. Ahead of the Porsche duo of Lotterer and Verline. The Techeetahs are next up with Vernon da Costa. Then it's Van Dorn in 6th. Porsche leading the way in the constructors ahead of Techeetah and Envision. Big gap back there to BMW, Audi and Mercedes, with Nissan not too far behind. Mahindra, Dragon Penske and Jaguar your last place finishers. Alright, let's go to France. And this again looks like one of those races where actually I think we should have a bit more stability. Question. In how this all runs. Looks like we've got some usual suspects up front though. Pascal Verline, Antonio Felix da Costa. I'm just mating all of the drivers. Oh, hello Nick de Vries. Welcome to the party. That was how you use your boost. Fan boost at best, but it looks like Lotterer may well have stolen pole position in the dying seconds of that, and indeed he does by 0.02 of a second. From De Vries, Rast up into third, then it's Vern, Van Dorn, Buemi, Evans, Sims, Da Costa and Verline, your top 10. Dennis, who's not had the chance to shine yet, up in 11th. Degrassi, Bird, Ericsson. Envision down the back again with Frines and Cassidy. So our championship leaders 15th on the grid. Oh dear. And it's Roland, Gunther, Lynn and Muller. Okay. Want to bet there's carnage? You bet there will be. De Vries straight into the lead. Vern cuts the corner and drops right back, and that causes all kinds of problems. Lotterer on the grass, as is Frines at the back too. Penalty there for Joel Eriksson and for Maxi Gunther as they try and smash their way through. Verline's now got a penalty too. An awful lot of damage going on, but it's Nick De Vries leading away just from Buemi. Look at Van Dorn, the Mercedes duo going for it, and that's pushed Van Dorn into the pits. De Vries keeps going, as does Evans, as does Sims. Hello, Nico Muller. I don't know what was going on there, just chilling up into 4th place. And here they all come in and out, but that should, in theory, spread the field out slightly so that they can now chill a little bit. Ericsson again in trouble, as is Roland, Lynn at the back. Pascal Verline last place. Oh, dearie me. De Vries continues on. Into the pits comes Evans and Sims. Muller keeps going too in the Dragon Penske, so just the two that haven't stopped. Where do Evans and Sims come out? Through goes Van Dorn and co. Oh, Rast there caught the grass on the inside. That didn't work out well for him. Lotterer goes through up into 7th. This is prime time because whilst Frines is in 18th, Lotterer is up in 7th. De Vries trying to get his championship up and running, leading the way and looking quite nice and clean on his own in 7th. The soft tyres will only last between lap 8 and 12, so he needs to make hay with it. Muller's going to go longer, 10 to 14. With new tyres on and less damage, Van Dorn, Degrassi, Evans, Buemi, Lotterer, they're all going to be trying to catch back up again if they're not going out onto the grass, which seems to be happening quite a lot. Both BMWs suffering there, Dennis and Gunther, as Vern gets through and up into 11th. Sam Bird looking like he wants to get that Jaguar up into 12th, and indeed he does. Big gap back there to Lynn. Frines now up into 15th, was 18th, so this is starting to see him work his way through. Who else is that into the pits as Frine goes through? It's Rene Rast. So that's not worked out well for him. That's his second stop. Comes out behind Verline. Roland, Cassidy and Ericsson are all in, which allows Nick De Vries to continue on his way. Lapping cars as he goes. 6 seconds advantage over Nico Muller. And then it's the pitted Van Dorn, Degrassi and co behind. A long pit lane here as well in this French karting track, so De Vries needs to be wary of that depending on how he pits and when he doesn't pit. And there's Nico Muller about to lap his teammate on lap 6 of a Grand Prix. So it's Jean-Denis Delatraz driving, not sure. Van Dorn there then up into 3rd, ahead of Evans, Degrassi, Lotterer now 6th place with Rast coming in for that second stop. Buemi, then the two Chatitas, nose to tail again. They've had their battles already this season. Da Costa and Vern going at it again. Then it's Bird catching up to Jake Dennis, BMW versus Jaguar. Soft versus hard tyres as well. That surprises me that Bird is able to catch up so quickly. I know there is some damage on Dennis, and this does have quite a few straights on this track, but still surprising. Frines now running 14th, closing down on Lynn up ahead. That's Rene Rast though, quite fancying Pascal Verline for 15th. Again, cuts the grass on the inside. That's not the way to take that corner. Problematic. And look, that's Nick De Vries. Rene Rast is the next one to get lapped. That is Muller though, going under pressure from Stoffel Van Dorn for 2nd place. And Van Dorn's going to push him out wide. Really aggressive Formula E style move. Who cares about racecraft when you can smash others out the way? Muller trying to use some of his boost to fight back, but it really isn't. I don't know if it's his long-term battle to be doing that. He's in the slowest car, battling with the Mercedes, one of the faster ones, and indeed Muller bails out early, as does Nick De Vries has pitted, and there he is coming back out again behind Degrassi, Evans and Van Dorn. Hard tyres, interesting. No damage, looking good for Nick De Vries. Here is Lotterer now up into 5th. There's Bird in 6th. He's ahead of Nico Muller, who's trying to lap teammate Ericsson again. So many Ericssons out on track for Nico Muller. and that's problematic. Gunther now up into 8th. Buemi after 2 stopping now in 9th. There's Verline. That's René Rast being overtaken by Da Costa, then using his boost to get through, and Da Costa absolutely mullering. Not Nico mullering, of course, but getting past. Both Verline and Rast absolutely mugging Verline again there. Giant Verne keeps a watching brief. Dennis, Roland and Lynn. Friends now down in 17th after his second stop. That's not good for him. Cassidy not too far behind, but he'll be pitting soon. I'm assuming with all of that, nearly coming to a stop to try and let Degrassi through. So let's take a look at what's going on up front then. Mitch Evans leads for Jaguar. Doing well on the hard tyres, trying to make it go as long as possible. He is slightly damaged and Degrassi is closing him down. And there's Cassidy in and De Vries is in for a stop. That surprises me. He's back out again on hard tyres, but clearly he's coming from a damage point of view rather than a speed point of view. That has kind of ruined his race a little bit because he's now back out in 6th, popping a lap on Nick Cassidy. Need to pop a lap on Alex Sims as well, which indeed he does. Oh, Cassidy, there's an opportunistic move. Battle for 18th intensifies. But that is a second stop there for De Vries. He's out behind teammate Stoffel Van Dorn, who's on soft tyres. He'll need to pit again, definitely. You'd kind of say De Vries needs to, as Cassidy gets a penalty and needs to move out of the way. De Vries now needs to make hay whilst he's got the clean air. Lotterer's got clean air, but he's got Nico Müller and Stoffel Van Dorn closing him down. The interesting thing here, Lotterer, of course, old hard tyres. Van Dorn new soft tyres, and Müller kind of in the middle. As Evans pits, that's a heavily damaged Jaguar too, so clearly he's run into problems with the lapped traffic. Van Dorn now ahead of Müller. Is he going to get ahead of Lotterer? He does. He pushes him out of the way, gets a penalty for his troubles and woes. And then some damage courtesy of Nico Müller. Van Dorn now under attack by Nick De Vries. And this is how the pendulums swing as Lotterer comes into the pits, as does Van Dorn. That puts Müller back up into 2nd place as they pop a lap on. Friends is having a nightmare at the minute, back out in 16th on his 3rd stop. Bizarre field spread here. I really didn't think this would be quite so bad around this track. Lotterer and Bird get round Da Costa. There's Van Dorn, Dennis, Verne, Buemi, Gunther. Alex Lynn coming out of the pits, letting through Oliver Rowland up into 13th. Pascal Verline down in 15th. Championship leader Robin Friends 16th as our race leader, or pre-race leader, Lucas Degrassi pits. That hands a lead back to Nick De Vries again, who I was criticising on that 2-stop strategy, but he's popped himself back out again, top of the pile. For how long though? Because that's Mitch Evans, soft tyres. Clearly he will want to try and make those out to the end if he can, but if not, another stop for soft tyres. Could well time that quite nicely. 2.9 seconds the gap, and look at all that traffic for Nick De Vries to try and get around. Lucas Degrassi could be in the pound seat too here. Medium tyres 3rd position, and in the Audi pushing himself forward. Lotterer's up into 4th, Van Dorn, there's Bird in 6th, so a good day currently for Jaguar, considering they are the slowest, or at least scored team on the grid. Müller gets round Verne, there's Buemi, Gunther and Da Costa just outside the top 10. There's Nick De Vries, he's pitted, he's bailed early. That surprises me. Again, his 3rd stop. He's the first one to really trigger that, along with Van Dorn, his teammate. Trying to push Robin Friends out of the way. Does so and gets through immediately onto the back of Andre Lotterer, who's on hard tyres trying to get to the end without another stop. Not sure he'll make that. And look at the way how De Vries just bullies his way past. Tyre wear, or tyre advantage, I think really is key and critical for this circuit. Evans just coming up to Lucas Degrassi. And Degrassi, I think, is through. Medium tyres, soft tyres. So Evans in theory should have the advantage, but I think we're at that crossover point where the soft tyres are now starting to get a bit older than what the medium tyres would be to get its advantage. So Evans maybe diminishing returns, but we'll see how these two play out. Audi versus Jaguar versus Mercedes coming at it. Look at Nick De Vries homing in up front. Absolute carnage going on further back in the midfield. It's also about making sure that cars don't clip the grass. The grass is really slowing down the cars here as the Mahindras are going at it. Sims and Lynn. I believe Lynn is actually a lap ahead of Sims. Such is the problem that some of these drivers have had. Nick Cassidy's done 6 pit stops, as has Renault Rast. It's really not been good for them, and that's Mitch Evans. Oh, he comes into the pits. Interesting. Mitch Evans then dives into the pits, comes in, puts on the soft tyres. He's going to the end on that and hoping that that will give him not only kind of clean air and track advantage, but no damage as well, so that he can start reeling it in as everyone else starts tripping over each other. But he's got Van Dorn ahead, and Lotterer, and De Vries, and De Grassi. And I think De Grassi is going to try and hang it out and not pit himself. And there's hardly many cars up ahead. Friends behind there on soft tyres could be a problem. But look, here's De Vries lapping him. Rast's in there too, but Lotterer and Van Dorn and Mitch Evans need to kind of get round those to really get somewhere. De Grassi and De Vries though, side by side for the lead. And both pit. I knew it would happen. They put themselves into problems, and that's allowed Andre Lotterer to get back into the lead on his hard tyres. Through goes Van Dorn, and is Mitch Evans going to leapfrog them? Yes, he does. The undercut working a dream for Mitch Evans. He's on soft tyres, as is De Grassi and De Vries. Whammy on hard, just off the back of all of this. Here is a knackered, medium-tyred Stoffel Van Dorn. I think he'll need to pit. Is Mitch Evans going to try and get through, or will Van Dorn bail out? He does not bail out, and there's Lotterer in for hard tyres, switching across to softs. Again, he's left it too late. Through goes De Vries, through goes De Grassi, and through goes Evans, who's now caught Van Dorn, who's our leader, but he's not going to be able to hold on to that. Through goes Mitch Evans into the lead. De Grassi immediately all over him though, and look, he's pushed Evans out. De Grassi takes the lead for Audi. Mercedes is Van Dorn's into second, and he bails into the pits as well. Too late, really. That should have happened a lap or two ago. And that's allowed De Grassi to push his teammate out of the way, first of all. Rast down in 16th, having a nightmare. Finds up into 15th for our championship leader. But Lucas De Grassi just pushing his way through. Evans in second, being lost and dropped, really. De Vries up into third, 4 stopping. It's not worked for him. Rast back into the pits again. There's Lotterer now into 4th position. Van Dorn in 5th, following his 4th stop. Then we've got Vern. Dennis has quietly got himself up into 7th. Vern up into 6th, I think we'll be pleased with that. Nico Muller looking like his best result, up in 9th. Bird into 10th as well, looking like his best result, I think, of the season too. Sims making a stop for Mahindra. 6th stop. Got some there, Rast and Cassidy on 7 versus De Grassi's 3. But look, it's all about this traffic. Cassidy gets out of the way. Evans fences a sniff of it. I don't think he's close enough to make too much of a difference, but it always seems to just pendulum affect where you hit the traffic and whether or not you can get round them or not. And look, Evans stuck there with Cassidy. Cassidy gets a penalty, and it's just dropped Evans so far back. Final lap though. That looks like De Vries has kept ahead of Lotterer for the time being. It's been a real interesting ping-pong pit stop race, but Lucas De Grassi is going to take this one for Audi in possibly the most cohesive race we've had so far. Says a lot, doesn't it? Ahead of Mitch Evans in the Jaguar, De Vries third for Mercedes, then Lotterer, Van Dorn making it a 3-5 for Mercedes. That's the Cheetah's Vern. He's going to come home ahead of Jake Dennis in the BMW, Nico Muller's Dragon Penske, the second BMW of Gunther, very damaged, but 9th. Ahead of Bird, or is it? Is De Grassi going to get there? No, sorry, Buemi gets there and yoinks 10th at the last second from Bird, then gets a penalty after the line. Nice. Da Costa, Roland, Lynn, Pascal Verline. Freins only 16th and 4 points. He won't be in the championship lead surely after that. Rast, Sims, Cassidy and Joel Eriksson round out your finishers. So what's that do to the championship? It's Andre Lotterer then up front on 76 points ahead of Freins. De Grassi, Vern, Van Dorn and Verline just behind on 60. we're at the halfway mark and I could not tell you who is going to win this championship. It is, just like the real thing, a complete and utter roulette wheel spin. There's the second half of the championship there. Nick de Vries there has gone from last after round 1 to joint 11th though, so he's making his way back up again. I wouldn't count him out. And even Nico Müller, after that decent result, is still 20th and last. Porsche still lead the championship though in the constructors, ahead of Chichita and Mercedes, with Audi, Envision and BMW all about to cross the 100 point mark, probably next round. Should we go to Turkey? I think we should. Oh, that turn 1 is going to be an absolute carnage wreck, isn't it? And saves that kind of fishneck or snake chicane as they make their way through. But again, look, Lucas de Grassi looking well out front here, ahead of your Lotterers, Verns, Verlines and co. And it's an Audi all front row, de Grassi and Rast, well done. Porsche and Chichitas are next up, followed by de Vries, Evans, Gunther, Van Dorn. Again, Envision down the back there, with Freins in 18th place, and the Penske's resuming their back row escapades. So, are Audi going to hold it after turn 1? Oh, kind of, but look at Vern sticking through the middle there, trying to thread the eye of the needle through. And he gets one of them, does he? Or does Rast manage to get his way back again? Sims heavily damaged towards the back. Buemi a very slow start, but largely I think this is the least chaotic start of the lot. De Grassi, Rast, Verline, Vern, Lotterer, de Vries, Cassidy, Lynn. The two Dragons again. Dennis, Evans at the very back. Oh, gets smashed into the barrier there by Buemi. That's no good. Then the Pitters. So at the end of lap 1, Gunther, De Costa, Sims, Bird, Freins and Van Dorn right at the back for Mercedes. Terrible start for him. He now has it all to do. Roland off the back too. A couple more pitting at the end of lap 2. But largely rejoining towards the back. That was Dennis coming in and rejoining just behind Van Dorn, who's now up to 18th as they try and scamper their way through. But this is looking good for Audi. 1-2 up front, not damaged. Verline keeping with them. Nick de Vries quietly in 4th, but look, he's on hard tyres, whereas the leading trio are all on soft, so he's got the long game in mind. Then it's Müller, who's holding up people, I'd imagine, in those soft tyres, or will be after the next lap or two. Lynn on hards, trying to get that Mahindra up. Joel Eriksson into the pits from the other Dragon Penske as Müller gets fed the barrier. And it's Buemi, Evans, and now look, Vern, our top pit stopper, up into 9th, and look at how quickly he's pulling it back in again. Da Costa on soft tyres, and they're older than Vern, I think could be in trouble as Müller and Lynn pit. So it's starting to cycle quite nicely for Vern and Da Costa and the Chichitas back up front again, and they don't really need to press too hard on Buemi and Evans just yet, because they're again thinking long game. Gunther doing well in BMW, both BMWs in the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship, so they're looking to consolidate in all of that. Gunther doing well. Cassidy trying to get his championship out and running again. And look, Lotterer, oh dear, that's the second pit for him and for Van Dorn. So again, two key championship rivals in trouble. Lotterer comes out and he's a lap down. Oh no, no good for him. Fresh tyres, looking to try and attack on de Grassi. The key here, and look, Rast gets his way through, is to make sure Lotterer doesn't interfere too much with the Audi train going on up front, as Bird pits for a second time and now goes lap down too. And look, Verline lapping his teammate in the Nissan. Although Verline is going to be faster, obviously. He's got the blue flags to think of. Same with Bird there, trying to get round Rast. It's not going to work, and that's basically forced Verline to bail out. So he goes to unlap himself, Van Dorn last, and look at how much gap there is. Verline gets back out again ahead of de Vries, who's pitted and gone onto softs. Buemi hasn't pitted at all in those Nissan cars, up into 5th, so it's still working all right for him, but he's kind of at the edge of his soft tyre run, I think. As still not pitting de Grassi, has pitted Rast, What can he do in terms of undercut? Oh, he's come out alongside De Vries and Verline though. That's a problem for him. De Vries has undercut the BMW in the Mercedes. Verline's doing the same on hard tyres, but he's keeping himself out of the equation. De Grassi's gone round again, lap 12. Is he going to pit and try and go maybe on hards or mediums and just try the one stop if he can make it work? Interesting to see. Muller gets out of the way. Just. Oh dear. But here comes De Grassi in. Rast, I think, will take over because of how much of a block that was. And indeed he has, look. But Ollie Rowland, they're looking a bit worse for wear in the... is that the Nissan or the... I can't remember which car he's in. I'm having a brain fart. But Rast is up front ahead of Pascal Verline. Then it's Van Dorn. Sorry, De Vries. Van Dorn now up into 15th. To kind of think of each other there a little bit, otherwise that will unravel quite quickly. Then it's De Grassi. Gunther, we said he was doing well early on, he's now up into 5th position as a result of all of this. A little bit damaged, but he's making those hard tyres work and last. Gets around Sam Bird. Is he going to pit? I was going to say he's got enough damage to do so. Cassidy in from 6th as well, so that's going to allow Alex Lynn to get up into 6th position. Allowing Bremy back through as well. Looking up front, no big changes there, but that's a problem for Jean-Eric Verne, who was our leader. He's missed the pit entry and is stuck. Oh, this is big drama for Chachita. They're doing so well in the constructors as well as the drivers. This has big ramifications for both, and Da Costa's in looking for repairs too. Real problems for both the Chachitas. And this is playing beautifully into Audi's hands as Rast goes through, still in the lead. I don't think Verne, a bit like what we had with Nick de Vries, stuck in race 1. He's now stuck in race 5. Rast now under attack from Pascal Verline though, and he's got a bit of damage. I think it will stick it out, but those soft tyres and that damage might be a bit problematic because look, Verline, less damaged tyres or less worn tyres will start to hound Rast, and De Grassi is coming back at these. He's on hard tyres in 3rd place and is probably, yeah, the best set of the 3, ignoring some of the damage as Roland comes back out again. In between them all, 19th of the 19 still trundling around. So here is Rast trying to keep Lotterer behind, and into the pits he comes for his 2nd stop. Through goes Verline and De Grassi into the lead in 2nd place. De Vries goes through. That's interesting from that perspective. He comes out ahead of Buemi in that Nissan car. So there goes Gunther and the BMW now up into 6th, and Visions Cassidy into 7. Jaguar's Evans into 8th, Mahindra's Lynn 9, Da Costa in the only running Chachita in 10th. This is going to be a big loss for the Chachita team if they can't get this together on lap 20. Van Dorn and Freins 13th and 14th, that's not good for them, and it's even worse for Andre Lotterer, 17th. 4 stops. It has gone horribly for that team and driver, and here is Rast versus Verline for the lead. Rast trying to hold on, he's on knackered hard tyres. I think Rast will get through easily on those softs, indeed he does. Verline bails out. I think Rene Rast will get to the end so long as he doesn't need to repair for damage. So this looks good for Rene if he can do it. Oh, De Vries gets a penalty for hitting Verline. That allows Pascal through and up into 4th place. De Grassi getting around and lapping Gunther. Remy in trouble. Da Costa up into now what is 6th place. I wonder if he can keep himself out of trouble and not have to pit. And that could be a good save from what was looking like 10th place earlier on. Nick Cassidy up into 7th, leading the Envision charge. Lynn closing down in the leading Mahindra. Bremy now back out from pit stops. We'll be trying to get away from all of that cluster of cars as quickly as possible. And if we flick our way back again, this is the problem for Rene Rast, trying to get his way round all of this lap traffic. He's done it, and he's got a gap some damage, but Lucas de Grassi would have to try and attack all of those cars before we could get through on any of them. Verline has now managed to get through into third. Gunther is somehow up into fourth, trying to make it work with a very damaged BMW, but he's ahead of De Vries and Da Costa, and he might need to pit. Indeed he does, and that's a shame for the BMW driver because that was looking good. De Vries gets through up into fourth. Is Da Costa going to get through? Yes. Cassidy gets through too. And actually, to be fair, Gunther, with those new soft tyres, could drive clean around the outside of Cassidy and Da Costa especially, who I think is vulnerable here between these two. And Cassidy, Gunther, are they going to get through? Cassidy immediately through, and Gunther basically smashing Da Costa out of the way. Somehow both end up behind, and look, Alex Lynn's getting involved too with the Mahindra. Sneaks through there with Nick Cassidy. Cassidy trying to get back through on the inside. This is the battle for 8th and 9th. But look, Gunther's got round. That was a good call to pit in all of that and pull his way back through. De Grassi is leading. How's Rast got up into second, and why is he so damaged? And will we have a repeat of René Rast conking out on the last lap and not getting anything? He's let Verline go. Muller and Evans are pulling away too. I think Rast is just going to try and settle for third place after the drama that we had earlier on. But his teammate Lucas de Grassi is going to ensure that Audi lead in what is the most dominant performance we've had so far this season. Audi get the win with Lucas de Grassi. Verline second. Rast clings on for third ahead of Nick de Vries, who nearly bails out of it too. Gunther gets fifth. Good run for him. Lynn sixth. Well done. Cassidy 7. Again, I think that's his best. Then it's Da Costa, Evans, Buemi, Van Dorn, Sims, Freins is in there too, Nico Muller, Ericsson, Lotterer, Bird, Dennis, Rowland. Jean-Eric Verne scoring absolutely nada in that Chitita. So I feel a bit of a shame there for René Rast, but that has done wonders to Lucas de Grassi's championship. Leading away 95 to 85, ahead of Verline and Lotterer on the two Porsches. Freins dropping away, that's the second poor result for him, down to fourth. Gunther suddenly now in the championship hunt, kind of in fifth. And it's Van Dorn, the two Chititas. De Vries up to 9th. He's clawing his way into it, isn't he? And Evans. Second half of the field, Rast, I think, was just grateful to take those points ahead of Lynn. And Dennis, Rowland, Ericsson, Buemi in the Nissan. What were the cars I was getting confused with? Porsches. There we go. I was getting the Porsches and the Nissans mixed up. My apologies. Porsche leads the way. Techeetah and Mercedes equal in points. How costly could that DNF for Verne be? Nissan just 1 point ahead of Mahindra and just 3 behind Jaguar. So big clusters going on as we head to Morocco. Again, this doesn't look too bad in terms of actually having room. Looks like we've got a Porsche going for pole with Pascal Ver. Oh no, look at the way our Audi charged at the very end there to get again a lockout front row ahead of Verline, Van Dorn and Evans. Da Costa the top to Cheetah, and Mahindra in the top 10 there with Sims. Freins just at the edge of the top 10. Again, the Dragon Penske's towards the bottom. Oh, BMW taking a tanker there. And Lotterer down in 16th. Is this going to be his Alamo to try and get back up and running? The race gets underway. De Grassi leads the way round. This looks like... my God, have we actually had a competent start by the field? Nanny? De Grassi leads the way. Rast, oh, that was a good move by Rast to get up into second ahead of Verline. They're pushing their boosts around to try and do something of it. The two Jaguars trying to push their way through, but I think Bird's caused himself problems. Lotterer, the only pitter at the end of lap 1. That could work out quite nicely for him as Van Dorn runs into a penalty. Bird's in, Frine's in, Cassidy I think was trying to get in and missed the pits. Dennis, Buemi, Vern and Ericsson all in. And look, Lotterer immediately able to get round people as they try and work their way through. And it's a quick 14-second lap here. Degrassi leads and is almost up to the back of people. Quick pit stop as well, but this is going to be problematic, I think, for traffic again as we get into lap 5. Degrassi, Verline, Sims, Da Costa, Roland up into 5th. Gunther, Muller, Cassidy. And then the leading pit stopper is again the Audi, but this time it's of Rast. There's Evans, there's Van Dorn and Bird going to town with each other. Evans sneaks round Rene Rast too, so that's worked out nicely. Gunther in the pits for the BMW driver, drops him down the field. And again, we've just got less people that haven't pitted yet. But I think it largely works out well to just hold on to a nice strategy over the course of the race if you can do it. But look at the way our people are being pushed out wide, and that's dropped Lotterer to last in the Porsche. That's not helpful at all. A real cluster of cars up ahead. Ericsson, Lynn, Dennis, De Vries is in there, as is Friens, and Degrassi's going to have to try and lap half of this lot. Oh! That's fortunate. Into the pits they come. That's allowed Degrassi, Verline, Sims and Da Costa through. Roland gets caught up in the problems, as does Muller, Cassidy as well. Lynn gets a penalty. Evans trying to get his way back through. And you've got to watch out for Evans. He's the leading pitter. And as Degrassi, Verline, Sims and co start to get stuck in the traffic, their lead over the rest starts to decrease even further. So when you look at the plate, mind you, look at Evans, he's locked in problems there with Cassidy, who's trying to lap his own teammate, and Cassidy indeed abandons it and comes into the pits. Evans now up into 5th. Is that a pit stop ahead? I'm not sure. Degrassi and Verline continue on their way. Sims, Da Costa. There you're 4. 3 stops for Lynn and Friens. It's an awful collection of races for Robert Friens, who went from championship lead to he's not even in the kind of top 10 of it really now, if you look at this. Dennis there in for another stop. Vern in for another stop in the Cheetah. That's not going to work out well, but it's still the same 4 who have not pitted. Or have they? In comes Verline, in comes Da Costa. And Degrassi continues on his way. Rast there moves up into 4th place. Evans up into 3rd. I told you who was going to be good with the pits would keep going. And this is working beautifully for Lucas Degrassi, who I think is going to try and go for a 1 stop if he can get away with it. It's an absolutely sublime race by him. Verline, Evans, Rast, Van Dorn, Da Costa, they're all closing him down. But again, Degrassi just goes, I'm not pitting. He's got Nick De Vries trying to unlap himself from 13th place, and he'll do so. But he's keeping himself clear of, look at these clusters. Lynn, Dennis, Gunther, Lotterer, Cassidy, they're all struggling and smashing into each other because they all get stuck together. And then you can't work their way through. Degrassi pits though. That's allowed Verline to get through into the lead. And in fact, Degrassi rejoins in 5th place, just behind Alex Sims, immediately on the attack, gets round Mitch Evans, who's now got a damaged Jaguar, and I think he'll be in. Yes, indeed he will. It's Friens in as well, right the way down the back, last place for him. So, Sims versus Degrassi. Just ahead we've got Da Costa in 2nd. Verline now is the one benefiting from being left on his own. And look, plenty of tyre life. If he can keep his powder clean, this could be great for Verline and Porsche. The Cheetah's Antonio Felix Da Costa up into 2nd. Of course, a champion of Formula E himself. But look at the way he's just got so much traffic in his way, including his own teammate Vern, who's stopped 4 times down in 15th. And indeed, Da Costa damaged comes in, as does Lynn, as does Lotterer, and that kind of drops Degrassi and Sims out of the way. And look, Degrassi, that's an awful lot of damage. I think he'll be in for repairs, and that's not really, I think, what he wanted to do, because that allows Verline to escape again. Pascal does have damage too. Does he want to pit and kind of make sure that he gets to the end okay, or is he going to continue on? He continues on. Rast now up into 2nd with his 2 stops ahead of Degrassi. Again, he's damaged. He's got less tyre life, than De Grassi. And indeed, De Grassi gets through, but gets a penalty for it. Oh dear, drama llama. Through went Da Costa and Sims. Sims immediately retaken. This has given life to Da Costa and his Techeetah, using his boost in an aggressive way at the end of that straight to keep ahead of De Grassi, and immediately on the attack of Rast, who has the least life in his tyres with the way how this all plays out. Evans not far behind, then it's Bird being ahead of Gunther, Roland, Cassidy, Van Dorn, Muller. Big gap back to De Vries, Verne, Freins, Buemi, Lynn, Dennis, Ericsson, and Andre Lotterer of 6 stops is last. And that's a knackered Verline. Do you stay out? Do you pit? I'd be inclined to stay out actually, because of where everyone else is on the track. Rast. Oh look, Sims and De Grassi either side of Da Costa. That's an amazing move. But it doesn't last long. They all start getting penalised for each other, and back through goes Da Costa. This is going to be a grudge match, and now if I was Verline, I would be pitting. That is too close for comfort. Bird's on fire as well in his Jaguar. This would be the time where I'd say, do you know what, it's time to pit. And Verline goes round again. Oh my goodness, this is dicing with death, basically, with these cars. Look at Bird, his car's about to conk out. Penultimate lap, this is the busy corners. Van Dorn goes through. Verline into the pits, what does that do? Lotterer, René Rast goes through into the final lap, and he gets shoved out wide by Da Costa. Da Costa reclaims the position. Now they've got problems with traffic everywhere as they try to get their way through. Teammate Verne holding him up, but I think he does. Antonio Felix Da Costa wins the race. From Rast, De Grassi, Verline, Sims, Evans, then it's Gunther, Oli Roland, Muller, and Stoffel Van Dorn will get 10th place ahead of Sam Bird, Nick Cassidy, Nick De Vries, Bremy Freins, Verne limping into the pits, and he's going to lose out. Indeed he does. Through goes Lynn and Ericsson. He just about beats out Andre Lotterer. Jake Dennis was the non-scorer there for BMW. So this is huge for the championship, because look, Lucas De Grassi now, 12-point advantage over Pascal Verline, and Antonio Felix Da Costa moves up into 3rd with that win. Rast finds himself up in 7th, Lotterer sliding down to 6th, and Freins down to 5th. Gunther again middling ground, but 4th place overall. And we're kind of breaking the back of this with 2 to go. We're starting to see some actual emergence, perhaps of a top 3 of De Grassi, Verline and Costa as the 3 going for the title. Audi just ahead of Porsche. Techeetah have kind of dropped away a bit, but they're still relatively ahead of Mercedes. A DNF could swing that one though. Envision then next up, just ahead of BMW. Jaguar, Mahindra and Nissan all together. Dragon Penske have been dropped. Alright, Qatar next. Or Qatar. Let's see how we get on. This again looks like a narrow track. Oh yeah. Watch out for everyone losing their damage and their ability to drive with that tyre barrier. Oh dear. But again, look, Nick De Vries this time, looking like he's about to give Mercedes their pole position. Dragon Penske back row, who are struggling there. So Gunther down the back in terms of championship. Where our main trio, Da Costa is 2nd on the grid, De Grassi is 3rd, and Verline is 5th. So our championship rivals all up front. How's that going to translate? Off and away we go. Nick De Vries gets a good start. Da Costa gets pinched on the entry to that, but keeps it clean round the hairpin. Quite a few cars damaged. Verline, one of them, and probably the most damaged of the championship competitors. Everyone else making their way through very gingerly towards the back with Muller and Sims. Verne pits. Van Dorn pits. Verline pits. Bird's got a penalty there. Who goes through? So it's De Vries, Da Costa. Interesting. He stayed out. Roland, Buemi. So both Nissan's going for it. Lin, the two dragons again doing their "we've stayed out of trouble" act. And then it's from 8th down who's pitted, and it's Vern there for Techeetah. When we're thinking of the constructors, they're leading the way. Then it's Van Dorn, Verline ahead of Degrassi. But different tyre strategies. Verline's on soft, Degrassi is on mediums. Oh, Rast sends Gunther into the barriers there. That's very Formula E. Shuffling people out wide. Mitch Evans at the back of the field. De Vries, though, keeps his powder dry, as does Da Costa. Roland, Lin, Muller. Look how quickly Vern is catching up onto the back, though. And he's on medium tyres. This could be very good for his overall battle. I think it's him and De Vries definitely game on. That's Buemi getting around the outside of Bird. That's a soft versus hard tyre offset, I think. Cassidy and Frines looking like they want to play ball with each other. Battle of the Envisions for 12th. Ooh, someone was in the barriers there quite nastily. Gunther gets a penalty. That's not going to help out his battle for 4th in the championship. Sims drops to the back. And now it's just our leading duo, and you can see there I was saying Vern was looking in the pound seat. Indeed he is, because look, Verline up into 5th. Roland has pitted and rejoined in 6th, which is great for him in the Nissan, but it's not helped him out. So De Vries stays out again. This time Da Costa is in. Through goes Vern, through goes Van Dorn. So Mercedes looking good. But Da Costa out ahead of Verline. And it's Degrassi who's the most damaged and the slowest car, and he's under attack there from Sam Bird in the Jaguar, who's going through round the outside. Bit more damage. Now he's under attack from Lin. Is he going to try and pit? Yes, he is. Hits Bird. This is not Lucas Degrassi's day, is it? Back out on medium tyres, down in 14th position, 15th position. Ericsson had gone through there as well, just out ahead of Mitch Evans. Gunther down last place. It's not worked for him. And there's Nick De Vries waltzing away, having a great run in the Mercedes. Yet to pit, medium tyres. Sims has got a penalty. That's held up him and Rast. I think De Vries will pit now with that damage. Indeed he does, as does Mitch Evans. Who else is in there? Yeah, that's Sims, isn't it? Oh, what happened there with Nick De Vries? He hit the pit barrier on the way out, and that's allowed Stoffel Van Dorn through. The two then touch. That has damaged Van Dorn enough, I think, to warrant him pitting at the end of this lap too. So a real faux pas for Mercedes, causing problems for their team, and that's dropped them down the order. Hit Sims trying to get into the pits. This is giving a reprieve really to Pascal Verline, who's now up into 4th place. He's got been absolutely ram-raided by Alex Lin in that Mahindra. He desperately wants through, and that's basically now put Verline into problems. Look, smoke coming out the back of the car. I bet Lin will pit as well. Yes, he is in from 4th. Verline's in from 5th. Lotterer will be in. That's allowed Van Dorn to go back through. So again, we're looking at Mercedes in their championship battle. Really helpful. Nico Müller up into 5th for the Dragon Penske. Again, it's just minding your own business. And that's exactly what Verline will be doing now, because look, 8th position, no damage, new tyres, clean track ahead. This could very well be a secret squirrel ascension up the order, I think. Cassidy being sent into the barriers by Van Dorn up in 4th position. There is Jean-Eric Verne, 3rd, De Vries 2nd. And there's Da Costa. There's a few cars between them. He's looking a bit damaged there, is that Techeetah driver, but the championship contender up there leading the race, best way possible. Do you pit? Do you stay out with that damage? Da Costa says pit, as does De Vries. Through goes Verne. Rast is not in it this time around in that Audi, down in 17th. He's had 3 stops. So actually Da Costa back out in 2nd, not too far behind teammate Verne, who's busy giving De Vries penalties for the way they hit each other. And Da Costa immediately picking off rivals left, right and centre. Indeed, Verne into the pits. So Da Costa, that's actually worked out quite nicely. Back up into the lead. A few cars that you might want to try and get around. And Mercedes there, 2nd and 3rd. Sims off the road on the other side of the track. And Da Costa making light work of some of this traffic. This is key for Antonio Felix Da Costa and his championship bid. He is really laying down the mark. And now it's up to what will Mercedes do with Van Dorn and De Vries? Can they stay clean? Verne in that other Chichita now back out on soft tyres. I don't know if that will make it to the end or not. But he's got a more pristine car with better tyres than what Verline does in that Porsche. And he's come into the pits. That surprises me. That feels not quite in sync. Teammate Lotterer goes through. Nico Müller does too, as does Jake Dennis in the BMW. Verline back out in softs. Oh, I'm not sure they'll make it to the end, mate. But give it a go, give it a go. De Grassi, our kind of lost title contender in this race, now up into 12th. He's pitted 3 times. Medium tyres, not too damaged. Sims deciding to take Rast into the pits, whether he wanted to or not. De Grassi, what can he do? He's got Lynn Bird up ahead. That's Evans with a penalty right the way down the back. Is Mitch Evans 15th anyway. And that is Lotterer, Müller, Freins into the pits, as is Ericsson, and that will be helpful for potentially De Grassi to try and gain some positions. And indeed he does. Look, he's up into 10th now, but it's still not El Matador for him. Up front, Da Costa, still not terribly damaged, leading the way, popping a lap on both Envisions. Cassidy gets the penalty this time around. And look, Chichita 1-2. Verne is now up into 2nd position, ahead of Van Dorn. Buemi in the Nissan up into 4th. That will be welcome for him. De Vries has pitted. That's his 3rd stop out of the way. And you'd kind of say, does Da Costa need to pit for a 3rd time? And how's that going to affect both him and how his teammate Verne will deal with him? Verne obviously trying to get to the end on that tyre life. I think he'll struggle with it, to be fair, so maybe this will sort itself out naturally. But Da Costa needs to really think hard about how he's going to deal with this lapsed traffic. Slightly damaged, but is he damaged enough to want to pit? No is the answer. So let's keep his powder dry. Verne, then Van Dorn up into the podium slots there. De Vries running well. 3-4 then for Mercedes. Verline, Porsche in 5th. Teammate Lotterer into the pits from 6th place. But actually, you can see Müller and Dennis. Dennis about to overtake Nico Müller. That would work out well. The BMW up into 6th place, about to lap his teammate. That's Nick Cassidy. That's not the right way, mate. I don't know what's happened, Nick. But that's not how you go racing around the Qatar circuit. And that is unfortunately a retirement, at least well out of the way for Nick Cassidy. Da Costa, those hard tyres are working, and he's staying away from everyone else. This could work out nicely for him. Verne, soft tyres, car looking knackered. He might need to pit. Indeed, I'd probably suggest it at the end of this lap, if I'm honest. No, round he goes. Van Dorn in 3rd. Not really closing him down too much, but again, he's damaged and in trouble too. De Grassi now up into 9th. Pascal Verline in 5th. Soft tyres, full stopped, as has De Vries, to be fair. Oh, I'd be very worried if I was half of these drivers, especially Jean-Eric Verne. That car looks very second-hand. And look, Van Dorn is all over the back of him. De Grassi, it makes sense to try and push him out of the way a little bit. And I would be in the pits if I was Verne and coming out from 2nd position. Indeed he is. Van Dorn goes up into it. He's a sitting duck a little bit here too with that damage. Ooh, and that could well save him with De Grassi getting a penalty. Da Costa's damaged too. Not nearly as damaged as Mitch Evans, who hops into the pits. And that is the saving grace for Da Costa, because that will keep him on his hard tyres. He's only 2 stopped. And look, you've got others on 4, 5, 6 stops there for Evans and Rast. And it really shows. Keeping yourself clean pays off. Antonio Felix da Costa, is this the championship defining drive? Comes home and wins on a 2-stopper. Van Dorn's conked out. Verne goes through and up into 2nd. Can Van Dorn coast it over the line? Wow. Real drama. De Grassi's in the pits too. That's problems for him. De Vries Oh, Verline, I'd missed it. He's up into third. That is a huge moment for him in the championship, getting past both Mercedes of De Vries and Van Dorn. Dennis, then Lotterer, Bird, Muller, Buemi, Lynn. De Grassi's going to only be 12th. That's huge for his championship hopes. Ollie Rowland, Freins, Gunther, Sims, Rast, Evans, Ericsson and Cassidy was your retirement at the end there. Wowzers. So we've got both Joel Eriksson and Nico Muller at the bottom of the table. Then it's Bird and Cassidy, Sims, Buemi, Dennis, Rowland, Lynn and Evans. Rast, De Vries, Freins, equal points. Gunther. That worked out well for Vern. Van Dorn now moves up into 5th, equal with Lotterer. And De Grassi is now 3rd in the championship. Da Costa moves into 2nd. Verline is now leading for Porsche. 2 points separate our top 3. This is an absolute finale showdown. Pascal Verline in the Porsche, Antonio Felix da Costa in the Chicito, and Lucas De Grassi in the Audi. Who will win? Who's going to win the constructors as well? That's a 3-way horse between Porsche, Chicito and Audi as well. So, and we've only got the weird oval where everyone, it's basically Destruction Derby, isn't it, for the finale in South Korea? Oh God, wish us luck. Okay. Ba-ding. So, Martinsville, the Revenge. Who got the pole? Van Dorn ahead of Rast, De Vries. Where our championship trio. Verline is 5th. Da Costa is 9th. De Grassi's 12th. Oh God. Right, for the final time of asking. Good luck. Van Dorn leads the way. Everyone on soft tyres because softs could in theory make it to the end. Look at Rast diving through. This is going to be all about how you use your boost and can you get away with stuff. Look at that. Van Dorn in the lead ahead of De Vries, Rast, Ollie Rowland. Verline trying to get round the outside of Ollie Rowland in the battle for what is 5th and 6th place. He is the top of the challengers in the championship. Da Costa there in 9th. He's running into some problems there with traffic and a little bit of damage there, and he's got De Grassi all over him. These are the other 2 championship rivals. De Grassi punts Da Costa wide but gets blocked by Buemi. They need to be making progress now in order to make sure that they can catch up with everyone. Alex Lynn, our first pitter going through. Buemi runs out wide there. De Grassi not too damaged. But look at how many laps you go down when you start to pit. Joel Eriksson, Buemi's in there too. This is about survival and keeping your nose clean. De Grassi now up into 10th position. Someone's in trouble. That's Cassidy and Evans in. Freins in too, as is Vern. Look at them all cycling through and look at who's got no damage whatsoever. It's Pascal Verline. This is working out beautifully for the Porsche driver. Rast, Sims, De Vries and Van Dorn are all in front of him. This is looking great for Mercedes. Someone's in trouble there. This looks nasty though. This cluster of drivers trying to work their way through. Sims really making lightweight of it as Nico Muller pits 2. Sims up into 3rd. Verline up into 4th now, going around the outside of Dennis but getting past Rast 2. Sam Bird at pits, founding off his miserable season. But yeah, look, Verline very much in control. Still not pitting though. De Grassi. But that, it looks like he's going to need to pit soon. Look at the damage that he's got on his car. Da Costa has. This is unravelled for Antonio Felix da Costa. He has pitted. What can Verline do? Can he stay out of trouble and not cause himself issues? He's got De Grassi. He's basically pushed him off. And I think De Grassi will now need to pit a result. No, De Grassi tries to stay out clean. Rast hits him. Oh, this is stressful. But Verline has not pitted, will not want to pit. As he comes through to the cluster of traffic that he's trying to lap, can he stay clear? He's got round Sims and up into 3rd place. Yes, Van Dorn and De Vries are battling up front for the win for Mercedes to get perhaps the championship constructors-wise sorted. But Verline does Van Dorn, who gets pushed out wide. Can Pascal win on the final lap? No, he can't. Nick De Vries wins for Mercedes, but Pascal Verline gets second for the championship. Wow, and look at Degrassi pitting. Oh, what a shame. That all unravelled for him. And Da Costa as well, down in the pits again in 16th. And so again, that was decided by qualifying and being a bit too aggressive in terms of who pitted where for what. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But well done. Pascal Verline, I believe, wins the championship. Who else did well in that race? Ollie Rowland up in 6th for Nissan, I think will be pleased. Bird ended up 8th. I thought that was going to be terrible for him, but that's probably one of his better results, if not his best result of the season. Degrassi only 10th, and Antonio Felix da Costa coming through in 19th because of that last pit stop at the end there. All falling apart, which means, let's go in reverse order. The Dragon Penske's at the bottom of the order. Ericsson being beaten by Muller. Cassidy not too far ahead. Bird only 17th. Buemi only 16th, and it was Lynn, Dennis, Sims in 13th, Oliver Rowland in 12th, Mitch Evans 11th. Freins, he led the championship early on, only ends up 10th. Jean-Eric Verne, 96 points. Gunther 98, he kind of fizzled out a bit. Rast 99, what could have been for a couple of his results going south. Lotterer, he looked like he was on course. Early on, his second half of his season fell apart. Van Dorn, 5th, was never peak at the top but kept himself involved. Same with Nick De Vries. Remember, he was the retirement on race 1, and without that, what could have been? Antonio Felix da Costa, a terrible finale, meaning that he ends up 3rd. And there's our winners. Degrassi in 2nd. And it looks good on points for Pascal Verline to have won with 152. But you know just as well as I did that that was tighter than my waistline inside anything that is not with lots of X and L's in it. There's our constructors. Porsche win that. Equal points for Audi and Mercedes, but Audi are given it overall. To Cheetah, their drop to 4th. BMW beat out Envision. Jaguar get Nissan by a single point. Mahindra just 2 behind that. And Dragon Penske, the only team to not go over 100. And there we have it. What absolute carnage, and that's exactly what I expected from Formula E. Thank you so much for watching. We'll have something a little bit more conventional on normal tracks next time. But hey, sometimes you just need a crash fest. And that's exactly what I tune into Formula E for. Take care.